she was all excited. She was after learning about Africa in the Montessori. And I remember the last thing I got to say to her was, "Bye Ava, good night, I love you." And she said, "Night, Mommy." And that was the last time I got to talk to her.
Yeah, the night just progressed from that. 2 hours later, she was up getting sick again. This time it was a bit more projectile. I was a bit more concerned, but not overly concerned about her. Just changed her clothes and put her back into bed. Maybe an hour passed, an hour and a half passed again. She got up again, but this time she had diarrhea and vomiting. So obviously at that stage I was extremely concerned about her because I was on my own. I left her again. I think I gave her a sip of water, maybe Calpol as well. And I think it was about 3 o'clock at night then, she was just kind of a bit agitated, so I decided to ring Weststock in Galway. So I gave them the symptoms, and they said that it's a vomit and diarrhea bug. So it's kind of what I thought myself, so we kind of left that. If I was still concerned, to ring back in an hour, but an hour later she still hadn't gotten much better. She had a temperature at this stage. So the doctor said, "Would you mind turning on the light and check for a rash?" So I done that. I pulled up her top and checked for a rash, but there was no rash there. And she said, "That's fine, we're all okay, we're doing good. Man, keep giving her sips of water, and if her temperature keeps going up, just, you know, if it's still concerned, an hour to ring back."
So but in the
meantime, I rang Siobhan's mum to come and give me a hand, obviously, because I was concerned. I just thought another person in the house would be a bit more at ease for myself, and maybe comfort Ava as well. But by 5 o'clock, she wanted to go downstairs, so I brought her down, and we watched some cartoons maybe for 5 minutes, and whatever way I looked down to her, I thought it was a reflection from the screen of the TV, but her lips had turned blue. I panicked, and I gave her to Siobhan's mum to hold. There was a doctor across the road, lives across the road from us here in Oranmore, but unfortunately he wasn't there. I'd come back, and at that stage she wasn't good, so I rang an ambulance. And
you rang me to say?
I rang Siobhan to say that things weren't good, and the ambulance had arrived, and we were proceeding to head into the hospital with her. But
I couldn't understand because I'd only spoken to her.
There was very little time. It was 2 or 3 hours of just vomiting and diarrhea. But on the way into the hospital, they were working away on her, and I could see there was a screen in the ambulance. I could see that they were extremely concerned about her. But we got to the hospital, and the ambulance paramedic driver.
I had ran down from the room, ran down to the A&E, and all I remember was that it was pitch dark, and there was not one person around, and I could hear an ambulance in the distance. And I remember saying to myself, "God, someone's really sick." And when the ambulance pulled up and I saw Noel's face, not realising that it was Ava that was in the ambulance. And I remember you jumping out, just looking at me, and you just said to me, "She's really, really sick."
Yeah, the actual paramedic, he kept talking to me the whole way from Oranmore to the hospital, but I don't remember what we talked about, to be honest. It was too much. He just said, "Will you please go to your wife?" I jumped out and went to Siobhan, as Siobhan said, just explain that things aren't good. They brought us into a room while they kept working on Ava.
Trying to revive her.
Trying to revive her, resus and all that kind of thing. But they came back into us and they asked us, do we want to go see her? Of course we did, but as I went in to see her, I just seen her stretched out on the bed, and she had no clothes on, and obviously it was horrific what I seen. I still remember today what it was. Just her laid out, and
all the doctors and nurses around her.
I still thought she was going to be okay, but obviously I couldn't handle it, so I went back in and let them do their work on her and tried to save her. But the consultant came back into me, and he couldn't bring himself to tell me what was going on. He said, "It's not looking good." He couldn't actually tell me that she had gone. He said, "Do you want to go back in?" I said, "Of course we do. We want to go back in and see her." I kind of composed myself a little bit, just to of course I wanted to hold her and touch her and see her. But
as we walked down the corridor, the two of us back to the room to her, we saw a priest walking towards us, and we knew she was gone.
He just seemed to stare at us. I didn't know why he was staring at us, but he just seemed to look at us, and he came straight towards us, and he told him, "I'm so sorry." And I said to him, "I don't understand why you're so sorry." And said, "You're after losing your daughter." He seemed to know more than I knew, but yeah, she had gone.
She was gone.
And I just felt like my whole future fell apart, and she was just...
It was that evening that they came back to us to say that it was meningitis, that and they told us themselves that they never would have suspected it was meningitis even in the hospital because she had none of the obvious symptoms. The strain of meningitis that Ava got was pneumococcal meningitis, and they call it the silent killer because it works away in the inside, and by the time it appears in the outside, it's just too late. She was never ever going to be able to fight it, and now she's gone, and I never got to hold her. I never got to say goodbye, and it's really changed our lives.
It's just an empty feeling we have. Yeah, it
4
doesn't.
weeks later, we went on to have Noah, and we've had Sophie since. We chose to be parents, so I suppose we have to be there for our children, and we still talk about Ava all the time, and they all know about her. And the most important thing for us is that we're able to keep her memory alive. So that's all we can do now.